Hi, this is Mark Serrazano, registered piano technician, oral piano technician with the International Piano Technician School, and the founder and head instructor of the IPTS. If you are trying to learn how to tune a piano, you may have found that some of the things people say don't make sense. For example, tuning A3, A4. Just how are you supposed to do that? Guess? Just tune it so it sounds good? Tuning an octave so it just sounds good produces an imprecise octave. That means every time you tune an octave like that, the size is a little different, and that produces error in the whole tuning. Maybe you use check notes and try to tune a wide 4-2 or a wide 4-2 narrow 6-3, but that doesn't seem to work all the time either. What's going on? Well, what's going on is you're trying to tune all pianos the same way. All pianos are not the same. Some have high inharmonicity and some have low inharmonicity. Currently, the International Piano Technician School is the only school in the world teaching students to tune pianos by ear based on their specific inharmonicity. I would like to show you one of the most challenging of pianos to tune. For people who tune a wide 4-2 narrow 6-3 for A3, A4, or another common system advocates that you tune a pure 6-3, they will always be stumped by this type of piano. Every time. Because the wide 4-2 narrow 6-3 or the pure 6-3 just doesn't work for this type of piano. And at the International Piano Technician School, we are the only school who has figured out why and been able to teach our students to get great sounding octaves every time in every part of the piano. If you want to know how we do it, keep watching. The first thing I'd like to show you is this diagram of the octave A3, A4 with its partials. We have the 2-1 here at A4, we have the 4-2 at A5, 6-3 at E6, and the 8-4 at A6. Now, this is not the way an octave actually is because these partials do not line up like this. They're actually more like this. And when you have something like a pure 8-4, then the 6-3 is going to be wide, the 4-2 wider, 2-1 even wider. If you go to a pure 2-1, you're going to get a pure 2-1, but the 4-2 will be a little narrow, the 6-3 narrower, and the 8-4 narrower still. And this is how we show this on a pure line. We can see that the 2-1 is pure, the 4-2 narrow, 6-3 more narrow, 8-4 more narrow. Now the question is, what size octave is the best? Well, in general, people say that it should be the wide 4-2 narrow 6-3 because it produces a minimum amount of out of tuneness at all of these partial pairs. And how do we measure that? We use a check note. For example, F3. When you play F3, A3, it's beating la 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 la, and then F3, A4, la 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 la, and that means that it's a pure 4-2. Now here's the problem. When you play the test for the 4-2, the F3, A3, the F3, A4, they can be so close that you can't tell the difference. This is a wide 4-2, but if I do something like this, you look at this and you think it's a pure 4-2 because you can't tell. Your senses are not refined enough to tell. But if we zoom in, you can see that it's actually a wide 4-2. Same thing with your hearing. If the beat rates between the major third and the major tenth are less than 5%, you will not be able to tell the difference. According to your ear, this is a pure 4-2. But when we measure the beat rates using a bandpass filter, it is not a pure 4-2. It's a wide 4-2. You can measure it. And when we calculate the difference between the 10th and the third, it's less than 5%. How does this help us with pianos? Well, when we have a piano, we have different inharmonicities, and the different inharmonicities show up as different distances between the 6-3 and the 4-2. So some pianos are like this, some pianos are like this, some pianos are like this. For example, if I was to have a piano like this, and I was trying to tune it as a wide 4-2 narrow 6-3, I wouldn't be able to. That's a wide 4-2, that's a narrow 6-3. But I can't tune it as a wide 4-2 narrow 6-3 because the 4-2 and the 6-3 distance is small. At the International Piano Technician School, we call this a small scale octave. And it is not tunable as a wide 4-2 narrow 6-3 by our ears. So we tune it as a pure 4-2, pure 6-3. And look at this. Look at the small amount of range there is for this to actually work. That's why this is a very precise and accurate octave. Now some pianos, the 6-3 and the 4-2 are different by something like this. Now you try to tune a wide 4-2 narrow 6-3 and you can't. This 4-2, 10th is faster than the third, and you can hear it. This 6-3, the sixth is slower than the minor third, and you can hear it. And again, the range is very small where this works out. But then we have this one, which is the piano we're going to talk about today. We have the 4-2 and the 6-3 are wide like that, far apart. Now, when you tune this as a wide 4-2 narrow 6-3, your octave is going to sound horrible because for here, the 4-2 is going to be going wow, 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 and the 6-3 wow, wow, wow. And it's just not going to sound good. But if you tune it as a pure 4-2, it'll be wah, and the 6-3 will be going wah, 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 and it just sounds a lot better. It just seems to sound better. And we're going to show you. We're going to show you an example of a piano with a large scale A3, A4. Here's a unit that was sent in by one of our students. It's Unit 4, tuning A3, A4 as the best size for that piano. And it depends on the inharmonicity of the piano, which it's going to be. And this student found this to be a large scale.
This is Unit 4 in a large scale octave.
Now students will play the notes that they're tuning 3 times hard to test the stability of their tuning. There's the A3, there's the F3, A3, there's the F3, A4. And we're going to filter this so you can hear it, but those beat speeds are the same. That's a pure 4-2. Now the 6-3, minor third major 6, that's very fast, and that's very slow. So the difference between the 4-2 and 6-3 is huge. So this piano has to be tuned as a pure 4-2. It just sounds better. And this is the octave. You can hear, and if you can't, I'm going to filter it so you can hear, that the 4-2 is solid. The 6-3 is beating. This is a really good sounding octave. So I'm just going to filter for you the different partials so you can hear the 4-2 and the 6-3. That's the 4-2, not beating hardly at all. And the 6-3, beating very fast. The 6-3 is beating really fast there. If you listen carefully, you can hear that, but it's not that easy because it's high and a little quiet. And that makes the octave sound the best that it can. If we don't tune it as a pure 4-2, this is going to be beating, and it's not going to sound good. And I just want to play for you these beat rates so you can hear and confirm for yourself that they are indeed the same for the 4-2 and very much different and a very narrow 6-3. So here's the 4-2. F3, A3, F3, A4. The same speed. And this is the speed of the minor third major 6 of the 6-3 test. You can see that these beat rates are not even. That's because some of the unisons aren't the best that they could be. Really, really big, huge difference, eh? So I'm going to show you now how we mark this. Every student gets their own spreadsheet, and each spreadsheet has its own tab for the lessons. So this would be Unit 4. And each of these intervals are marked based on unisons and the beat rates. The unisons are marked based on how smooth and even the beat rates are. So this has a little bit of a dip in there. We'd give that maybe a 3.5. This one's not too bad. Nice and smooth and even, so that would get a 4. So 3.5 and 4. The next, this is probably, well, it's probably got a little something in there because the beat rates are speeding up there. I call that the blob. And then there's also a blob here. So we give those 3.5 each, let's say. And now to calculate the beat rates, we're going to take the first 4 clean beats. Take the number here, 982 milliseconds. Tells us the beat rate, 4 beats per second. On the major 10th, 926. 4.3. That's a difference of 6%. So almost the same speed, because 5% is the limit of hearing. So this is pretty close. If we were to listen really closely, we might be able to hear that the second one was a bit faster. Yeah, it's probably a little bit faster. Now if we go to the 6-3, take the first 4 clean beats. So these beats are kind of blobby. 499. And probably these are the most even. 972. So what we have here is a huge difference, a 48% difference in the beat speeds. And now when we calculate the difference in these ratios of the beat speeds, we get a number that's bigger than 20%. So this is identified as a large scale. And as a large scale, the goal is to have a pure 4/2. But this is not pure, it's 6% wide. But because we can't hear anything less than 5%, we're going to take 5% off. And then the penalty will only be on 1%. We take that penalty and we multiply it by 5. That gives an interval mark of 95%. The unisons come out at 90%, and the final mark is 92. Closer to 90 because unisons get marked 2 to 1. This is how we teach people to tune octaves at the International Piano Technician School, specifically the A octave and the F octave, for the purpose of determining which temperament sequence we're going to use for each of the 3 different inharmonicities that we see every day in pianos. The small scale inharmonicity, medium scale inharmonicity, and this one here, the large scale inharmonicity that sounds the best as a pure 4/2, very narrow 6/3. If you would like to know how to tune a piano and you would like to get instructions that actually make sense and actually work, I strongly encourage you to reach out, give us a call, give us an email, find out what we're doing at the International Piano Technician School and see if this is the kind of thing that you've been looking for. Hope to see you online.